And what's up, everybody? Welcome to the Sports Globe podcast. I'm Angie Berry. Please remember that if you have any questions, please submit them to the Sports Globe podcast at gmail.com. That's Sports Globe podcast at gmail.com. And whatever's on your mind, baseball, football, basketball, hockey, and I will try to get to as many of them as I possibly can. Okay, so I really tried hard to not talk about Ohtani because there's just a lot of stuff that needs to be investigated because baseball says that they're still investigating, and there's just a lot of uncertainty about the whole thing. Now he did hold a press conference, which wasn't really a press conference in the first place. It was more like a statement that was through a translator, but they basically gave you two versions. One is that Ohtani gave the translator money to pay off the bookmaker. The second version is that the interpreter made it all up. There's just a whole bunch of questions that just surround this whole entire thing. They said that the LAPD and the FBI were going to get involved, but that turned out to not be true because the LAPD and the FBI came back saying that they're not going to investigate anything because a crime has not been committed. And when you look at the money and the situation around the money, how is it that Ohtani's translator is able to get his hands on his personal bank accounts? How is it that this guy is doing a handful of $500,000 in wire transfers to a bookmaker, and the whole total, at least as of right now, is $4.5 million in transfers for months? And Ohtani's going to try to tell us that he didn't know anything. He didn't get a phone call. He didn't get a text message. He didn't get an email. He didn't get one single notification from the bank about what's happening. I mean, almost every single time there's a wire transfer of this amount of money, a lot of times you have to either go down to the bank yourself and then you have to sign the papers and answer some questions, or you usually get a phone call about a wire a transfer, and then they ask you questions there, and then there's a process. And then a lot of times there's actually a second person that basically does what the first person did. So these banks are not stupid, okay? Especially when we're talking about a handful of transfers of $500,000 of wire transfers. Just, it doesn't make any sense of the fact that Ohtani did not know. Now, I just want to make this clear. I'm a huge fan of Ohtani. I love the guy. He has a tremendous talent. The fact that he's able to both hit and pitch and do both of those things well at the same exact time. I mean, he truly has a once-in-a-lifetime talent that we're probably not going to see for a really long time, and probably not in my lifetime. But there's just a lot of questions around this whole thing. Now, again, this is going to be a process. There's a lot of stuff that has not come out, and there's a lot of stuff that has to be discovered. Personally, I think Ohtani did more harm than good because he decided to make a statement as the investigation is still going on, and he didn't take any questions, which really angers a lot of people in the media, and it kind of turns him into an enemy a little bit. But the NFL came out today and they said that they had announced some rule changes, and there was about 9 or 10 of them. But most of the rule changes were the trade deadline was pushed back 1 week to Tuesday after Week 9. Teams are going to be able to get a extra challenge after they have successfully challenged one of them, which was not really that big of a deal, really, because they look at almost every single play now these days. So that's fine. They also said that they were going to give a 15-yard penalty to the hip drop tackle, so it was not banned as a lot of the media was making it out to be. It's just going to be a 15-yard penalty. I do know that ever since Mark Andrews got hurt, I think it was like during the middle of the season, he went down with a hip drop a tackle, and I think a lot of people don't really know what a hip drop tackle is, but you can look it up anytime that you want to, and it's basically like Mark Andrews, or it might be a picture of Geno Smith, and the players doing a hip drop tackle on him. Now, the other one is one that I don't particularly like. The NFL has been trying to slowly kill the kickoff for a while now. They keep on changing the rules, so that makes it harder to do a onside kick, and almost where it's just automatic that the player's just going to knee it and that the ball is always going to be at the 30-yard line. So what the NFL is now saying is that onside kicks are only permitted in the fourth quarter, and you have to tell the officials that you're getting ready to do it. So you have to line up for it. So no longer are you going to be able to do a surprise onside kick. So when the Saints won the Super Bowl, you basically have to take that onside kick that was attempted after halftime was over. That play is now banned. Okay, because now you have to let the officials know, and it's probably going to be, it is going to be a lot harder, because I think that the success rate for the onside kicks last year, and to quote me on this if I'm wrong, I think it was about 4 or 5, which is very low. I think it was like one of the lowest ever, which is exactly what the NFL wants, because, again, the NFL does not like the kickoff, and they want to get rid of it very slowly. Now, they did say that this was going to be a one-year trial. Personally, I think that they're going to change it again. I don't know what exactly they're going to change it to, but, the NFL just makes so much money, and they're so powerful, and they get every single top-rated program every single year, from the Super Bowl to the playoffs to regular season games. They always get the top-rated shows every single year. Every single year. I mean, this sport is healthy, it's thriving, and the NFL, still finds its need to keep on changing its product when it doesn't have to. But they are trying to eliminate hits. They don't want their players to get hurt, especially a decade ago, because they finally admitted that they have a concussion problem and that they have to get rid of concussions. And again, they don't want their players to get hurt, especially their superstars. I mean, it took Mark Andrews to lose for the whole season to a hip drop tackle to really bring attention to it, and in order to ban it. But that'll do it all for today. I will be back on soon. Keep in mind that if you have any questions, please submit them to the sportsglowpodcast@gmail.com. That's sportsglowpodcast@gmail.com, and I will be back on really soon.